why wearing these types of masks is so important to those who are hard of hearing.
Plus, the latest details on a late-night fire that sparked evacuations near Flagstaff.
And with youth vaping on the rise, we'll take a look at the plan to help curb the dangerous addiction.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Megan Marples.
And I'm Spencer Hardenberg. Thank you for joining us.
COVID-19 cases in the state of Arizona have continued to increase. This morning, Arizona health officials reported 484 new coronavirus cases and 22 additional deaths. That brings the state's totals to over 200,000 reported infections and over 5,000 COVID-19 related deaths.
The Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez announced on Twitter that the tribe will be participating in a vaccine trial led by the Johns Hopkins Center for American Indian Health. It'll be the first coronavirus vaccine study conducted on the Navajo Nation, which includes parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. The American Indian Territory once had the highest coronavirus infection rate in the country, but they have seen a substantial decrease in recent weeks.
In response to the rising number of coronavirus cases on the Tucson campus, the University of Arizona is asking students to shelter in place for 14 days to stop the spread. The U Arizona president, Dr. Robert Robbins, made the announcement during a weekly COVID-19 update yesterday morning. He called the move, quote, a last-ditch effort to stop the spread of the virus among students. The university has reported nearly 850 new cases in the last 10 days.
Wearing a mask has become a habit for most of us. And now you may miss smiling at a stranger who holds a door for you, or at the worker who helped you find your size shoe at the store. The hard of hearing community is missing out on more than just grins. Cronkite News reporter Faith Abercrombie discovered why clear face masks are more effective for this community.
About 1.1 million Arizonans are deaf or hard of hearing, making up about 15% of the state. And while not all of those people can lip read, they do rely on seeing the whole face when they are trying to communicate.
And today we're seeing a decrease in COVID patients needing a hospital bed.
Important announcements are often relayed to the public with a sign language interpreter. But everyday communication with the deaf and hard of hearing community looks a little different.
Put your lipstick on or whatever you want.
Sometimes when people talk quietly, it's kind of hard for us to hear. So we have to say, can you please speak up? And sometimes they don't want to, but they need to in order for us to hear.
The deaf and hard of hearing community relies heavily on visual interaction, facial expressions, and sometimes even lip reading, making clear masks more approachable.
Because you can read the lips.
But it's a common misconception that all deaf or hard of hearing people can lip read.
Yes.
I can't lip read, and people can't read my lips. I can't hear. So that's tough to communicate out in the world, out of our, deaf interactions. It's been tough.
With majority of the community wearing cloth face masks, this raises some concerns.
People want to go and vote in person. What is that going to look like with the mask? How am I going to feel comfortable? And if some information is being shared, or if one of the workers is standing there, how am I going to know?
Here we've been able to advocate and get the vice principal has purchased clear masks for all of the students and the teachers.
If clear face masks
right here's the nose
aren't accessible to you,
putting a barrier in our communication when we're out, we're requiring wearing a mask.
Klumhouse and her daughter share some advice.
Have patience. If you do come across somebody that does tell you that they're deaf or hard of hearing, don't brush us off, I would think is one of the biggest ones. That, for me personally, that's a huge peeve because that's almost like dismissing me. And, I'm a human like anyone else.
The community is able to request a face mask on the Arizona Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing's website on acdhh.org. ACDHH hopes for more businesses that are customer-facing to wear the clear face masks. In the broadcast center, Faith Abercrombie, Cronkite News.
Evacuations are now lifted after a wildfire broke out last night in Doney Park, northeast of Flagstaff. According to Coconino County authorities, the fire ignited on private property on the east side of State Route 89. Crews worked through the evenings to keep the flames contained to about 2 acres. They were doing mop-up operations early this morning when it sparked back up. We're told the blaze did damage some structures. It's unknown how many homes in the area were evacuated, but again, those evacuation orders have been lifted. An investigation is now underway.
Meanwhile, more than 250 Arizona firefighters and National Guard members have been sent to help battle the wildfires burning in California, Oregon, and Colorado. They will initially be deployed for 2 weeks, but some will be staying a month. The Arizona National Guard has reportedly sent an additional 30 citizen soldiers to California, along with 3 Black Hawk helicopters equipped to fight the flames. At least 36 people have died because of the western wildfires, with more than 1 million acres burning in Oregon and more than 3 million acres in California.
New tonight, vaping has become an epidemic amongst youth, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A national organization launched a campaign to create awareness about the problem. Cronkite News reporter Carolina Lopez explains why this campaign is so important for Arizona.
Keisha Bargett says she began smoking electronic cigarettes 4 years ago.
It was around the winter time and I was trying to stop smoking other substances.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in recent years, electronic cigarettes have become popular, reaching alarming rates among adolescents. Bargett says she has tried to quit, however, explains that she feels the most desire to smoke when she is stressed.
When you take a deep breath, you suddenly feel more relaxed.
In Arizona, 17.9% of high school students used e-cigarettes in 2019, according to CDC report. This habit is harmful to health, says Dr. Juanita Mora.
The big concern is for all these actual young people who are vaping to become chronic addicts of tobacco.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
The American Lung Association recently announced the campaign, Get Your Head Out of the Cloud, to create awareness about the problem.
Advocacy part as well, too, to kind of help legislation when it comes to e-cigarettes at the local, at the state level, and at the national level, at the federal level as well, too, so that we can protect our young people.
This is a cup of maple syrup that exemplifies the vicious appearance of tar, which is a material produced by tobacco combustion. According to the American Lung Association, those who smoke 1 pack of cigarettes per day for a year filter through their lungs a cup of this toxic fluid that causes cancer. The National Lung Association partnered with Northwestern Medicine under a $25 million grant from the National Institute of Health to study the health of millennials, including the long-term impact of vaping. In the meantime, Bargett says she will continue to try to quit this habit. Carolina Lopez, Cronkite News.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, the Black Lives Matter display that's becoming quite the tourist attraction. We'll take you to D.C. to see the impact it's having on its visitors.
And forget Mars, researchers say we should be looking to Earth's twin for our next mission. We'll tell you why a little later in the show. Stick around.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. Thanks to PBS Passport, you can watch all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Last week, Phoenix officials denied a request for a Black Lives Matter mural in the city after another group sought to create a pro-law enforcement mural in response. Officials said there could be legal implications if one mural is approved and not the other. The city had considered allowing street murals after activists proposed a Black Lives Matter mural with portraits of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others. The mural was going to be painted on 3rd Street between Jefferson and Jackson. A spokesperson for Black Lives Matter says her group plans to sue the city due to a lack of proof that the mural is a safety hazard.
While the Phoenix City Council rejected the proposal to paint a Black Lives Matter mural downtown, the BLM Plaza just outside the White House has become a popular tourist stop since it was created in June. Cronkite News reporter Maithili Gubi from our Washington bureau spoke to some of the visitors at the plaza. Maithili?
It may just be letters painted on pavement, but to Atlanta resident Sade Dixon, the Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington is so much more.
This memorial means everything as far as being able to stamp it that we're here.
The Black Lives Matter Plaza here in Washington honors the movement that led to protests around the country this summer. Tributes have sprung up in many places since then, but for visitors like Dixon, there's something different about this place at this time.
You're Black, you feel like sometimes these gestures are wonderful, but it feels like you're a piece of merchandise, like something to just talk about when it's something to, gain on, or something to talk about that's popular, when really we're out here on the ground every day, trying to do it like everyone else.
This plaza has taken over 2 blocks of 16th Street and runs right up to Lafayette Park, which was cleared by law enforcement in a clash with protesters that became a touchstone for the movement. Shortly after that, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser ordered the street painted, right up to the fence ringing the White House. A fence where people put up pictures and posters with messages both personal and political.
But I think this is a way to start communicating. I'm a little bit older, and I remember back in the days when nobody believed anything happened, and then Rodney King, the video actually came out back in the early 90s. So this is just something to show these things do happen. They do happen on a regular basis.
It happened to Dixon's family. She says a cousin, Edmund Perry, died in the 80s when a white police officer shot him. She said it's time for a memorial like this one.
So we have all the great memorials that's come along in time at the Tidal Basin and, all over here. But now the people who put their hands and feet to help build this land has an opportunity to be recognized as such.
Recognized in painted letters on the street, posters that call for justice, highlighting lives lost, and political statements too. But it's more than just that. Dixon believes it's time for change and hopes people will continue the efforts recognized here.
And make sure that we continue to do the work so that we don't have to keep going through these cycles,
Washington is not alone. Other cities, including New York, Kansas City, Tulsa, Oakland, and Seattle, have painted their streets with Black Lives Matter messages. In Washington, Maithili Gubi, Cronkite News.
President Trump's daughter, Ivanka Trump, will be visiting Phoenix for the first time since her father's been elected. She's expected to hold a roundtable discussion with Governor Doug Ducey tomorrow morning at 11 to talk about working families and tax cuts. This is one of several Trump campaigns being held in the state this week alone. Second Lady Karen Pence will visit Luke Air Force Base on Thursday, and Vice President Mike Pence will hold 2 events on Friday.
Up next on Cronkite News, astronomers discovering possible signs of life on Venus? We'll explain what they found in the clouds that's making them look for life after the break.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
Everyone has secrets. Are you protecting someone?
I have no choice.
You do have a choice. You're looking at him.
That's amazing. We could be standing on top of a T-Rex right now.
Women demanded new space and pushed the boundaries of what being a lady means.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station. Sign in and start streaming today.
Here at Cronkite News, we have producers who craft shows that make an impact on our community. Our broadcasts allow students to be involved in all levels of production, from producing to directing. We are guided by highly respected professionals who mentor the journalists of tomorrow. From technical directing to teleprompting and beyond, our production crew works tirelessly to produce meaningful and award-winning shows. We are Cronkite News on Arizona PBS.
Cronkite Noticias is the Spanish-speaking division of Cronkite News, covering topics such as economics, education, sustainability, immigration, and border relations. Cronkite Noticias strives to serve the Spanish-speaking community in Arizona. Under the guidance of prominent Spanish-speaking professionals, students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism develop content for our broadcast partner, Univision, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. Explore Cronkite Noticias at cronkitenoticias.azpbs.org.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland, in Washington, in Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Did astronomers just find signs of life on Venus?
Well, researchers say they have detected traces of phosphine gas in the planet's atmosphere. On Earth, the flammable gas occurs when organic matter breaks down. It's also produced by bacteria that does not need oxygen, like organisms that live in wetlands. That means it is possible something could be alive on Venus's scorching surface.
And according to David Grinspoon of the Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, this discovery could be a sign of alien biosphere. Experts say they hope to continue to study, quote, Earth's twin in search of a clearer explanation.
That's it for Cronkite News. For Arizona updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.